Hey everybody, Edo here, and this is Steampunk Rally by Orin Bishop, and it was published by Roxley Games. Now, this was an extremely successful Kickstarter, and actually, it looked so good, it was so polished, it was doing so well, that I was like, forget it, I'm not interested. It's just too perfect. I just can't support something so perfect. And it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it had metal cogs and 80 dice and just, every kind of imaginable stretch goal. And finally, I was like, forget it. I'm just going to pick it up because I don't remember how much it was, but for $40, I'm going to get all this stuff. And if I don't like it, I have all this stuff. It's just worth it for what's in the box. This is a glorious game. This is a fantastic, fantastic game in so many ways. I highly recommend this. I've now played it, and for what it's worth, this is one of my new go-to, have you played Steampunk Rally games? In short, each player is representing a famous inventor. Thomas Edison, there's everybody, right? I can't pronounce that guy's name. There's Tesla, Ferdinand von Zeppelin, Margaret Knight, and even the instructions, which are just gorgeous, have little backgrounds on each of these inventors. And the art is fantastic. And I think the instructions, as glorious as it was, could have been done a little differently, but still gets the point across. But you're one of these famous inventors, and you are making a gigantic machine, and you're using this machine, and you're all in a race. And the objective of the race is to move down the board. You take damage as you go. You got to deal with that and get through the finish line. And actually, it's not the player who crosses the finish line first, but after you cross the finish line, there's one more round to see who gets the furthest. And when you understand the dynamics of the games, you'll see how smart that is. This is a machine engine building game where once you have your character, each character has the start of a gigantic device, and maybe I can put this together here. And then you're going to be expanding this device outwards in all different directions using the little connector pieces to have this growing vehicle. And this growing vehicle gives you all sorts of abilities which are tied to the inventors. Great parts, fun game, engine builder where it's an actual engine. But I have to say, and the fantastic art, but the level of smarts that went into the design of each card, the boiler or the flash boiler or the generator, and how the drive wheel, the treads, and how steam, heat and electricity are represented in the cards and the designs and the vocabulary of what the item is and how it works. It's stellar. It's a level of design quality that few games attain. It's not just that the game is fun. It's not just that it's compelling. It's just so thoroughly and completely and utterly designed. It's awesome. It's so awesome. And you just got to appreciate it. Even, sometimes it's a little clunky in places, but you just have to appreciate how fantastic that part of it is. But so you're making your vehicles, and it's got a little drafting mechanic where everyone actually there's I don't know what the categories are. I don't remember, but there's different types of parts. There's some parts that are more things that are touching the ground. Some parts that are more internal. There are boost cards, and when you're playing, you're gonna each player grabs four, which is three vehicle parts of each type. Arguably, these could have had different backs. I think I know why they didn't do that, but in the grand scheme of things, I think it could have been okay. And a boost. Each player drafts one of these four cards, and then draws all four. All players have all four, and then you're going to pick one and then pass the cards around. So it's an interesting drafting mechanic because you're not passing equal cards. There's only one of each type, and once you've selected it out, you pass it around. And so one player could get all boosts, right, if everyone doesn't select the boosts. And supports a large number of players because it's simultaneous play. So you draft, you vent, which I'll explain in a second, but then basically you're building out your vehicle. And this isn't a great way to look at it, I apologize, but again, you're just sort of connecting the different pieces and pulling it together. And so your vehicle lets you heal, it lets you drive, it lets you generate resources. So you've got all these dice, and I'm not going to put these back. All right, maybe I will. You generate these resources. So on your turn, you draft parts of your vehicle, you're growing your vehicle. You can also instead get resources from those cards, and you get cogs and you get dice. Dice are what power your vehicle. You're going to roll them, you're going to put them onto the different parts of the vehicle, and then there's like a division system where if a part says, blue dies turn into red dies at a factor of, not the correct use of factor, but for every 2 pips, for every 2 pips on a blue, you're going to get a red die. So if I have a 6, I'm going to get 3 red dice. And that's how you sort of build the engine of blue dice to yellow dice to red dice, to move, to damage, to heal on your vehicle. Cogs are used for 2 things. One, to re-roll a die or add a pip, which can be, make the difference between, say, something that needs 5s and you have a 4. Adding 1 pip could make it click over. And also are used to lower your dice to remove them. So what ends up happening is you're building this vehicle, you're adding dice to work it, but you can't use those slots again until you vent and you take them off. So you've got this really nice chunky dynamic of like moving through the experience where it feels clunky in a good way. It feels like the vehicle's got parts that are powered up and then have to cool down, and you move forward and then you stop, and like it just feels like this hunkering, man-made mechanical mess in the best way possible. And again, there's tons of fantastic how to play videos on this. If you really want to go into detail on it, you should. But I strongly recommend checking this game out. If it feels a little too gamery or mechanical, like too many dice and cogs and all the pieces, play it somewhere. And I think you'll like it and want to pick it up. So this is Steampunk Rally. Definitely recommended. Subscribe, share, all that good stuff. More importantly, play some great games. Thanks.